Hello and welcome to the BA History Talk at this year's Open Day. My name is Alison Forrestill. I'm the coordinator for the programme and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you about it. The primary reason to study history is because it is such a fascinating and enlightening subject. But in the BA History, we've devised a degree that enables you not only to enjoy history, but also to develop personal qualities and professional attributes that will serve you very well after university. The motto of our department is that to understand the world today, you need to understand the past. And to help you to do this, and to help you to understand how the past relates to and influences the present, we've created a programme that aims to give you the knowledge and the skills to analyse the long-term events and forces that have shaped our contemporary world and continue to shape it now. In this programme, you'll take history as your core subject or your major subject, and then choose other subjects, other complementary subjects as your minors. And this structure gives coherence and depth to your learning, but it also gives you choice and flexibility to follow a route that will best suit you and your plans for the future. So you'll follow a learning pathway in which you major in history and take complementary minors. You apply for your degree on the CAO under the code GY105, and then you choose a pathway when you start your degree with my help and with the help of other lecturers too, as appropriate. Third year of the four-year degree is given towards work placements, spending a semester or a year abroad, or special subject modules. And this is geared towards giving you a set of diverse situations and circumstances to apply your knowledge and to gain experience of a work environment, exposure to a different culture, in which you need to adapt to a new education system and a new society, and to take special subject modules to increase your expertise. The work placements that will be available and for which you will compete will suit the pathway that a student is on. And they will have a strong emphasis on using knowledge and skills from history and the other subjects that are being taken. So they could be spent in archives, heritage centres, NGOs, or community groups. The study abroad programme will be via the Erasmus programme, and NUIG has lots of links with EU universities like Strasbourg, Toulouse, Uppsala, Leuven, Mainz, and so on. If you're taking a language, you'll go to a university in which you can use that language, French or Italian. But otherwise, there are plenty of options for students who are not studying a language and where modules can be taken in English. When it comes to choosing your history modules, there is a very wide range available on our menu, going from the 5th century to the 21st in first year to third year, into your final year, medieval, early modern and modern eras, and going from Irish right through to British, European, American, and global history. As you go through your degree, your study will become more focused and more specialised. We have a lot of themes within our modules and across our programme: gender, childhood and youth, military history, migration, civil rights, and more. And all of our teaching is based on excellence in research. My colleagues and I research constantly and have published many books over the years. 3 of the more recent are there on the right of the slide to give you an indication of the level of research, the vigorous activity of our research, and the publication record as well. In your modules, there'll be an opportunity for different types of study and work. So you may have group discussions, presentations, problem-based projects, essays, and archival work, training in digital and online sources. As I mentioned, a unique element of this programme is your ability to construct tailored pathways for learning over 4 years with the assistance of the programme director. There are 4 named pathways, and 3 of them, pathways 1 to 3, make use of new minors available at NUIG. And these are subjects that complement history really well. So the structure enables you to concentrate on history as your core subject, but also to develop knowledge and skills in other subjects that have particularly strong connections to it, such as journalism and global media, political and sociological studies, philosophy, economics and public policy, and a number of languages. Journalism and global media is offered only as a minor through the programme. It's also worthwhile noticing here a second minor, Globalisation Studies, which is available on Pathway 2 and which I will talk about more later in the talk. All of the pathways have history as their major in first year, as noted. And at this point in first year, all of the pathways follow the same history modules. These provide a foundation to build on, and it's similar for the other subjects too. In years 2 onwards, modules will become more specialised and you will have greater choice within your subjects as well. It's a 4-year programme, and in pathways 1 to 3, you continue with the same subjects that you studied in first year for the rest of your degree. Whereas in pathway 4, you drop one of the subjects that you took in first year and continue with history and the other subject. In year 3, as I mentioned, there will be opportunities to apply for placements, study abroad, and special modules, which can be mixed over the course of 2 semesters. So it's possible perhaps to spend a year abroad or a semester abroad and then combine it with special studies or with a work placement. The study and the work done over the course of year 3 will fit with the theme of the pathway that you're on. So for example, if you're on pathway 1, you might complete a major research project based on an archival collection or online resources in digital humanities. And you might publish from that work in the media or in an academic journal. It's possible also in history and globalisation studies pathway 2 that you might carry out a placement in an NGO or community group while also spending a semester abroad at Continental University. To give you some of the practicalities, I think it's a good idea to show you possible routes through 2 of the pathways. And the example that I'm choosing first is from pathway 1, historical studies. Here, history is the core subject, and you see here the modules that are taken in first year. In this pathway, the student has chosen to take journalism and global media and philosophy as their minors. It would also be possible to take other subjects. For example, you could do history and then journalism and global media with political and sociological studies as your minor. And if you took political and sociological studies, you might have options such as public administration, European Union, modules on ethnicity and nationalism, or environmental political thought to take as options as you proceed through your degree. I've given here examples of module choices within the major and within the minors that are well suited for this pathway. And we can see that there are complementary themes being dealt with in the 3 subjects. Emphasis here in the modules will be about the use and interpretation of information taken from the past. So the student here has taken a range of history modules on social and political history, covering the history of human and civil rights, conflict and war. So the student will develop a deeper knowledge of these areas, but also develop skills for gathering and interpreting historical information on them. When we turn to the minors in journalism and global media and philosophy, we can see that the student is showing a particular interest in how to use and present information in new and traditional media. So there is important study in media ethics and the law, understanding media audiences, and media research methods. And when we turn to philosophy, Again, we see this emphasis on information and on ethics. How should information be presented? What duties and responsibilities do we have in writing about history? Is news about what sells, or do we have a duty to seek the truth? The student is also taking modules on aspects of thought in different cultures, which will enable them to access key prejudices or key values of a society in the past and in the present. To take another example, we'll go to Pathway 2, which is the Pathway on History and Globalisation Studies. Once again, you see in history, the same modules being taken in first year, and here the student is taking minors in globalization studies and has chosen to do economics and public policy, but could also have chosen Italian or French. Globalization studies is about the interaction and the integration of ideas and people and cultures in a more interconnected world over the course of history. And it examines the interdependence of the world's people, the world's cultures, markets, and economies over time, and the implications of that interdependence for the past, the present, and the future as well. And the students' history modules show a particular interest in areas relating to globalization studies and the history of globalization. So there are modules here on empire and nationalism, disease and epidemics, migration, the impact of technology from railways to the computers over time. And these themes are taken up again in the 2 minors that the student has been advised to take and is taking. So modules in globalization studies relating to travel, transport, and the environment, also modules in economics relating to health economics, environmental economics as well. So these are very well chosen to bring together the themes of history and globalization studies across the 3 subjects. And the student has a coherent program that crosses the subject boundaries, but also gives a deep thematic understanding too over the course of the 4 years. I have here what I think is a great quotation from Shubha Saha, the director of the Google Academy, excuse me. And he says that today, when we work in global business, it's a daily challenge because we have to bring all of these different parts of the puzzle together and have people from quite different backgrounds and quite different styles working together. This is a really good quotation, which emphasizes the benefit of the kind of education that the pathways in the BA history offer. And the qualities that we note in our graduates, the graduate attributes. Students will have a specialist knowledge, of course, from in-depth study of their subjects for informed decision making. They will be skilled in gathering evidence and carrying out detailed and extended research, and will be able to analyze information and data critically. We also train them to question assumptions and to make arguments based on the evidence that they gather. But very importantly, and this goes back to what the director of the Google Academy was saying, our students have the ability to understand complex issues in a holistic way and from different perspectives. And that is what their program of major and minors will give them. The ability to be able to understand complex issues on the basis of knowledge gathered, but from different perspectives, and to produce an overall picture. They will also, of course, be able to communicate clearly in different formats and to different types of groups, which is extremely important within their post-university career. You might ask, of course, what do our students do with their degree? And I give you here 3 examples from recent graduates. Aveline O'Leary, who specialised heavily in history with globalisation studies and with gender, has gone on to work for the United Nations Development Programme, the Immigrant Council of Ireland and DePaul Ireland, specialising heavily in trafficking and gender violence in her work. Jakob McKiernan, who focused on historical studies, now works for Lexion Publishing. And Shauna Mulligan, one of our most recent graduates, is now pursuing starting an MA in history and is specialising in political and civil rights. So there are careers abundant within this programme and from this programme. It offers a diversity of choice and flexibility, but at the same time focuses student studies in particular areas in which they could end up working just like these students in terms of United Nations, in terms of publishing, or in political and civil rights. I hope this will encourage you to think strongly about taking the BA in History at NUIG. It's a terrific programme with great opportunities for students in their study. If you would like further information, please do contact me, and you can see the email there for any further inquiries. History is also active on social media, on Twitter, and at Facebook as well. And I want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch and listen to my talk today. Whatever you decide, I wish you the very best in your future studies.